this part of the story really is a connector to Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. And I just want to put in a trigger warning right now. This might be hard to listen to because I feel like people that see me, people that have went to school with me, my friends, even like some of my family might be shocked about like what I'm about to say, or just me sharing my experience and just the things that like I've went through by myself. But this is my story, and I'm grateful that I'm still here today, but this is something real that I went through. So I just want to put in right now a trigger warning. If you get triggered by like suicide and stuff like that, please share with somebody. I'm not going to ask you to ignore it or skip forward. I would strongly encourage you to share it with somebody that probably needs to hear the story. In February of last year, 2020, this is, still pre-pandemic, I was going to a therapy session, and I remember that day was like really gray and like cloudy and kind of like rainy as well. And I was just kind of like telling my therapist that like I was feeling down, depressed, nothing new, just, what I've been seeing you for like the last few months is pretty much like what I'm going through today, just feeling down. And I'm not really quite sure how the conversation took a turn, but she asked if like I had once like hurt myself or like hurt anybody else, and I was like, no, I don't want to hurt anybody else, but there are times when like I just feel like I just want to stop the pain. And she was like, well, what do you mean by that? And I just told her that like I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of like feeling pain. Like I'm just tired of like feeling the pain. I'm tired of feeling, period. And she had asked me like if I had a plan to like hurt myself, or if I had a plan to, had like an actual suicide plan, because I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, if I had a suicide plan. And I told her that sometimes I just felt like taking all of my pills, all of my prescription pills, all of my anti-anxiety, my panic attack medication, my antidepressants. I felt like just taking all of them and going to lay down because I'm tired. Like I was so exhausted of fighting like a fight, and I just felt like I was like never coming out on top. I felt hopeless. I felt like nothing was getting better for me. Here I am, it's February 2020. I started therapy in like September. So what? September, October, November, December, January, February. It's been 6 months, and I still feel like I'm doing everything that I need to do, but I'm still feeling so low. And it's not that I wanted to commit suicide, but I was tired, and I just honestly didn't know what else to do. It's definitely a scary thing because as I found myself telling her this, talking to her like this, using these words that I've never used before, I found myself very afraid of myself for the first time. Like here's this person that I don't recognize sitting here in this chair. Y'all, I got my rag with me because I knew that I was going to be emotional. I found myself sitting here in this chair and I felt like something was taking over me, like a dark cloud was taking over me. And I it's just like this person that I just don't recognize, like, who, this is not me. Like, the Trinity that y'all may or may not know, like, I feel like I'm bright, like I'm a great person to be around, I'm funny, like my friends really enjoy my company, we all have a good time when we're out. This artistic, bright person, smart person in school wanting to make a difference in the world. But this person that is talking about taking these pills and going to sleep, like, who is that? Because that's not me. Oh, is my lash coming off? That's not me. That wasn't me, and I was afraid. So she kind of explained to me that because I had somewhat of a plan, if I was actually wanting to go through with it, that she did not feel comfortable sending me home that day, and she ended up calling 911. And I called my parents and explained to them that, you know, I was going to the hospital. And what I had in my mind was completely different from the experience that I had, because I thought that, I'm not glamorizing like the psych ward. I don't even want to call it a psych ward. The psychiatric care unit in the hospital. I don't want to glamorize anything like that. And of course, I was naive enough to believe that, you know, what I see like in the TV shows and the movies is exactly how it's going to be like in real life. No. But pretty much what happened was she called 911. I just called my parents. I just remember apologizing to them, letting them know that, you know, like, I'm going to be okay, but like, I'm sorry, and I feel like I let them down. And with depression is like this overwhelming feeling of guilt. So me apologizing was just completely like the depression talking, just apologizing for no reason. And I could hear the fear in my parents' voice, but I would never want to do anything to hurt them or to take myself out of their world, because I know there's too many people that would be distraught if anything were to happen to me. So they pretty much reassured me that everything was okay. And the paramedics pretty much like did like an intake on me, and they took me to the hospital where, like, you know, they go through the whole procedure. They had to collect urine. And honestly, my hospital experience was so disgusting. Like, it has really nothing to do with the story, so I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I'll just highlight some of the things that I went through in the hospital, which completely took my mind off of the fact of why I was there. For those of you that live in Atlanta, I was in Grady, and Grady is ghetto Grady. They drew my blood out in the hallway. They had me waiting like in this freaking chair, like in the emergency room, like in the back in the triage area for a good minute before they freaking put me in a room with nothing but a chair. They gave me a blanket. I'm sitting there like just cold, scared, not really knowing what's about to happen. I was under the impression that they were about to have me in a hole for 72 hours. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to do in this room for 72 hours? Until, you know, they brought me upstairs. And then I was in a community room with like other people that had, I'm not going to call them crazy, because as a person going into the mental health field, I had to be more considerate of using stereotypical words like that. But people that have more severe mental health struggles than I did. And it was probably, if not one of the worst nights of my life. I was only there for 12 hours. I only stayed there overnight and then until morning, and I could barely sleep. But when I was discharged in the morning, you know, a social worker had to come with me and had to come talk to me and, you know, evaluate that I was okay and safe to like go home. And I told her I think I was just, you know, just not having a great day. And by the time I was discharged, my mom was already on a flight to Atlanta to just come be with me in my time of need. And that's I really appreciate her for doing that, because that's something that like I just need like a familiar face. I think I was just feeling so down and just so out of touch from like reality and just like my own reality, that I just needed something familiar to bring me back to a more comforting space. It was hard. That was definitely, and as you can see, just me recalling is not something that I talk about at all. I don't feel like uncomfortable telling people, oh yeah, like, you know, I do deal with like depression and anxiety, but that right there, I have never been that close to or could relate to suicide and suicidal ideation and people that just feel the need. Like, I finally gained an appreciation, or an understanding, I should say, of how hard it can get for people that do deal with these, that deal with mental disorders, that they just want to stop the pain. I don't think it's really about, or I'll speak for myself. For me, it wasn't about, you know, taking myself out of this world or wanting to hurt myself or to like gain control, like how people say. That wasn't my experience. My experience was not wanting to feel what I feel now. That's something that I've never thought I would experience in my life. And you know, there are days where I still feel like, or there have been days where I felt like, you know, I just want to stop the pain, because, you know, it does get bad. Depression does get bad. And a lot of people ask me what it feels like. It feels like the worst flu you could ever have, but in your head. Like, you just feel like it won't clear up. You're never going to get better. You've been eating all the soup in the world. You've been sleeping for hours and hours and hours. You've been drinking your liquids and stuff like that. But from a mental standpoint, like dealing with depression, it's like, you know, I go to therapy twice a week or every 2 weeks. I'm always meeting with my therapist. I'm always making my appointments with my psychiatrist. And I'm taking my medication every day, doing my exercises. I'm doing the things that I enjoy, but why am I not getting better? It's kind of like that's pretty much my analogy for it. That's pretty much my analogy for it. It's just not feeling like you can't get better. So as much as I want to make this video long, just talk about everything under the sun that has to relate to mental health, depression, anxiety, suicide, I can't. But I just really appreciate everybody that has watched this, everybody that has supported me, everybody that has helped me through my hard times, my friends that, you know, just are amazing people to talk to whenever I'm feeling down. My family is one of my biggest support systems, my therapist, my psychiatrist, everybody that is watching this that are either going through something, or you know somebody that's going through something and they really need an encouraging word. This is a field that I'm going into, and I don't want anybody to feel the way that I felt for so long. I felt so alone and so down. I felt worthless and hopeless, and my heart goes out to those, especially, not to make this a color thing, but for people that look like me, that are black and or brown skin, just wherever you may come from, that feel like, because in our community, you know, people don't feel comfortable seeking like therapy, you know, trusting the white man or whatever, thinking, you know, it's an insurance scam, whatever. All we have is each other at the end of the day, if you don't trust anybody else. So, I mean, my DMs are more than open for you to just, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm always here. I always make myself available to anybody that I come across. And if we end up having a deep conversation, the last thing I always say is, I'm always here. Here's my number. Please do not hesitate to DM me on Instagram, on Twitter. Leave comments under the video if you want to share your story. You want to share your story with others. Like, I just want to make this an open space. I want to make myself an open space for people to come to talk to, because I care deeply about this. This is my passion. This is what I'm made for. And for me to also have gone through it and to still be going through it, I want my journey to be everybody's lesson, kind of, to go and seek help. You don't, it doesn't have to get to the point that I got to, the dark moments that I've got to. So my camera battery is dying, but I just wanted to close out quickly and say that I always appreciate y'all watching my videos, but especially this one, really more so asking you to share in honor of Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. This is not really for likes. I'm not asking for pity or like sympathy or anything like that. I just want to share my story to let other people know that it's okay, especially people that look like me that feel like they don't want to be judged for seeking help, and they have a hard time trusting, you know, the process. But I mean, I am living proof that this works. I'm in such a better place now, and I just want to encourage other people to get to a better place as well. So thank you so much for your continuous support, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.